Today on the program, we're talking about ICT. I'm being joined by Dr. Chris Uwaje. He's the Chairman, Mobile Software Solutions. So good morning to you, Dr. Uwaje. Thank you for coming in. I'm sure you're expectant. ICT is a passion of yours. You've talked about it so many times. But let's look particularly at your expectations with regards to policies now from the government for the development of the ICT. Oh,
great. I think when we probably focus on this agenda, I want to throw in a little bit of concept, which of course has been so in the industry, disruptive innovation. And it's about this concept of digital change conspiracy. It's a theory. Digital change conspiracy, because everybody's talking about change. What change are you talking about? Now, there is this platform of digital change conspiracy, which of course is the compression of crisis and time. That's what we live in now. That's how do you manage time in times of the crisis that you face. So this is the challenge to both the president of the country as well as, of course, the minister that will come in. And this compression of time is staring us in the eye with Millennium Development Goals, which have just ended in September this year, 2015. But then, guess what? Another challenge is staring us in the face, which is Sustainable Development Goal, SDG, which of course the United Nations has plugged in. Sadly, Nigeria has really not accomplished the Millennium Development Goals. So where do we go from here? So when you're talking about global leadership, management and development, you need to deal with this compression of crisis and time, how you act, how you respond, how your data moves, and all what's not. Because this is really the challenge of leadership. And when you put it in perspective of the fact that we live in a world where we have 200,000 babies born a day. If you mathematically compute that, you're talking about 80 million people being added to the planet every year. So how do you deal with your own people? The carrying capacity of Nigeria, we're told, is more than 400 million people. We are just about 180 million. So how do you conceptualize the strategic platform to be able to engage governance and leadership this 21st century, with particular reference to Nigeria? So ICT ministry really has a whole man's challenge of how you can deliver the quantum of demand of information cluster for developing Nigeria, especially on how the people can benefit. You are governing Nigeria, you are governing the people. The people yearns the need. And of course, as we talk, many babies are being born now. Within the next 24 months, 36 months, these babies will be saying, I want this, I need this, and whatever. How do you compute and how do you use technology to be able to create that first platform of ensuring that the country does not just grow, but the country develops?
Dr. Uwaje, when you started talking, you mentioned the fact that we're talking about change. And we need change across the economy, across key sectors, particularly the ICT. Now, the ministry was actually formed in during the last administration, the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, headed by Omobola Johnson. Now, they definitely, she and her team came out with a number of policies that at some point, industry experts such as yourself, kicked against, but some actually got, the support. But those policies, and still talking about this e-governance that, the president is also, championing as well. How can all of this tie in to ensure that we get ICT where it needs to be?
Great. The way forward, the way to go, is that Mr. President will be the Chief Marketing Officer of Technology Drive in Nigeria. It happened with Lin Kuan Yew in Singapore. It happened with Clinton and his vice, okay? And unless the president drives ICT as a backbone, as a chief marketing officer, as a chief promoter, then automatically you're not going to get that substance, because you need to motivate the people to be able to think ICT, because ICT is still the change. That's why I'm talking about the change, digital change conspiracy. You don't just talk about the change out of context of change. The change we are now in the 21st century is about technology change. It drives all spectrum of society. And that is why we need to see that government is automated, not just computerized. There is a world of difference between automating governance, between ensuring that your services, the dictates of the president, if you want to be able to ensure that this thing is translated and implemented, you need to drive it through technology interface. There is just no other way to be able to do that.
Sorry to cut you, Dr. Waje. Yes. You and I have discussed e-fraud on this program before, and it's, yes, as much as we'd like to say it's being managed, it's still on the rise and still causing more than a few palpitations, I like to use that word. But how can the government now use ICT, for instance, to tackle corruption and promote transparency in government, which is the objective of this present administration? Yeah,
but I have news for you. Government has already started, and that is the dynamics of change. This change have also been applied by Obama in the White House. He figured out, oh, government is not just about governance. Government is about change. It's about transformation. And now this transformation is digital. So he called in the technocrats from the industry. He ensured that you have 60% of technocrats within the White House who are really re-engineering change in the digital platform. Government started doing that because the Nigerian Computer Society was invited by the new secretary to the government, who have challenged them to come up with solutions to tackle national security, Boko Haram, e-government, effective services to the people. So the professionals are now on the stake.
They're in the game.
To say they're in the game, to be able to ensure that, but that's the way to go. If we are not kidding ourselves, civil servants is about policy, it's about delivery, it's about monitoring and supervision. They don't know much about technology. We started the policy of technology in governance, and good, they accepted that. But what we are saying, moving forward, e-government should be core. And of course, the security aspect, there are solutions in there. Harriet, let's look at it this way. You are staying here dishing information to the public. Public are responding, feedback. It influences the way, the conduct, the attitude of how society is built. Now, moving forward, there has to be a feedback from the public too, as we do. Of course, that's where you have these text messages and of course call-ins and all what's not. We're talking about security of governance, of citizens, of our sovereignty. You need to ensure that you have an interface where the populace, you're talking about 180 million people. If you take it and leave it, 70 million people should be able to be reporting online each day on what they see.
A very good interaction between the government and the citizens.
So that is what the Nigerian Computer Society is doing currently, to showcase the capability that within the ubiquity of cell phones in Nigeria, we can use this medium, this technology, to assist government to ensure that corruption is reduced to the barest minimum, to ensure that the security of life and property is enhanced and increased. And I tell you what, the ITU just on Tuesday just released a new figure that you have 7 billion people connected to mobile subscription in the world. The good news is that out of the 3.2 billion who are on mobile, underdeveloped countries, especially Africa, take a chunk, about 2 billion. And that is a huge opportunity. But the issue is that if you don't manage this medium well, then you don't have your content to drive that medium. Even when you have the broadband, you need your content, you need your capability, you need your people to be completely in charge. And when I say in charge, you need to create incentive that motivates them. Just as I told you, I was in Joburg and I came back, and you have Joburg Center for Innovation, Technology Innovation. You guess what? They have about 1,000 cubicles that they beg people to learn. They pay them to sit and learn technology.
But then
they pay them to ensure that that they can be the empowerment and, of course, the innovators of tomorrow.
But you know, let's take a closer look to our own situation.
Right.
Talking about telephony, you actually mentioned the telephony and network expansion, and even the using the internet to do stuff, you know, online and the rest of it. We still have issues with slow connectivity, dropped calls in some cases. Now the ministry is going to come in at a time when you know, their table is, I'm sure, this high, piled this high with, you know, documents from subscribers' complaints and the rest of it. What should they be doing with regards to arbitration, for instance, and adjudication in cases where customers have complained consistently about mobile service providers with regards calls, with regards internet use, and the rest of it?
Right. Good. I think we're also talking about the feedback in technology. The technology has this adaptive tendency to be able to ensure that it can also monitor itself. With due respect, Professor Dambata has put some process, that's the EVC of NCC, to be able to ensure that applications or apps can be sent to your phone that monitors the ubiquitous behavior of your phone, as even without you knowing, intuitively. So within the timeline of where you are within the environment of the base station, the phone can really send information back that the base station is offline. For example, no generator, no power, or that the routers, you know, are failing. So you can use it to measure the quality of service. The other one that we are building, or we're trying to build as innovators, is to have NCC QoS reporter. Okay, that I made a call, and of course the call didn't go once or twice or thrice, and I just pick no calls on this line, on this network, and I made a call. It didn't go through, but I was charged. Oh, I was billed wrongly. So you collect this quantum of data. When you talk about arbitration, you need the evidence. So it is the feedback of people that you can now use to evidence. That's when the network people are going to sit up and say, oh, these guys are watching me. That was, the first case was big brother is watching you, but now the small brother is watching you too. So a feedback and equilibrium will generate the quantum of quality service that you will now need to be able to go ahead.
Dr.
But let me just lay this on you. State government too has to plug in. It's not just at the federal level. For the rural area to benefit from the digital promise that we are having now, automatically you need to ensure state governments are doing that. Delta State government has just started something which is very interesting. Dr. Okoa is integrating his ICT strategy with that of PPP, and of course the Commissioner of Directorate of Science and Technology. They called some professionals together, and the PAMSEC is championing. Well, you know,
Dr. Wade, we're going to continue this conversation, you know, because hopefully the ministerial list will be announced tomorrow. Yeah. So I know I'll definitely have you back in the studio for us to continue talking about the ICT ministry.
Thank you.
Dr. Chris Uwaje is the chairman of Mobile Software Solutions, giving us his perspectives on the selection of an ICT minister.